Hello, good morning, house. How was your night? How is your day going? I want to specially welcome every one of you and thank those of you that were able to attending yesterday's facilitation. Sincerely, I want to apologize for what happened. It wasn't a planned thing. I actually started earlier to connect so that I'll be able to connect as the host, but it seems I had issue with the course page, and that made me I was unable to connect despite all my struggle. I struggled for almost an hour so that I'll be able to connect, but it didn't work. So I want to sincerely apologize for not holding yesterday facilitation. On that note, I decided to hold this as alternative. After this, I should be able to paste it on the course page so that you can have opportunity to listen to what we're supposed to do yesterday. You are welcome. God bless you. Once more, I welcome you to today's facilitation. Last week, we were able to talk about, or we start the topic MIS. And I told you what MIS is all about, Management Information System. And I was able to define what MIS was. I told you that MIS include 4 components. Number 1, you have to collect data, you store the data, you process the data, and analyze it from various business activities. You collect data, you store the data, you process it, and analyze it for various business activities. Each organization have their different aim and value. So whenever an organization decides to form an MIS, it have its values, so it form it according to their needs and according to their values. We also talked about the components of MIS, and one of the components I mentioned last week is data. Data is the main thing. I told you what data mean, and I believe every one of us knows it's raw facts. We talked about information, we talked about instruction. We also talk about database, decision management system, and many others. They are all the components of MIS. So we are able to look at the relationship between data, information, and instruction. And we are able to differentiate these 3 processes. We are also able to look at the value of MIS. What value does MIS have? And I was able to explain to you that in each organization, when you talk about value, each organization have their own value. They have different value. So the value of MIS depends on the user that is using it in the organization. In my own organization as an education organization, the value I will have for the MIS or the management information system may be different from you that is working in an accounting firm. You have different value because we have different criteria. So the criteria is what is used to form what? The MIS. So it depends on the users of the system. So far we have been able to touch what we discussed last week. Today we are going to enter into a different lesson. And like you can see on the screen, our lesson topic for today is types of MIS. Types of MIS. At the end of the lesson, you should be able to state the type of MIS we have. You should be able to define what data bank MIS is all about. You should be able to explain predictive MIS. You should be able to describe decision-taking MIS and define decision-making MIS. We'll come to know the difference. Now, I want to talk about the types of MIS we have. What are the type of MIS we have? Number 1 type of MIS we have is the Data Bank Management Information System MIS. Data Bank Management System Information MIS. What is a data bank? Every one of us know what a data bank is. or a database. Let me call it a database. It's commonly known as database. It's a collection of files used by organizations and stored such that one file may have records duplicated in other files. In an organization, we always have collation of what files, collation of similar datas. So they will be stored in various folders. So this is what we call data bank. And in most organizations, you have something of such. Example of this kind can be seen in schools, like what you are seeing on the screen. You can decide to have a data bank of the number of schools we have in a state. Like now I'm in FCT. You can decide to have a number of a data bank concerning the schools, the total schools we have in FCT, their location, their addresses, and their type, whether they are government, whether they are private. So that is a data bank. You can also decide to have the total number of secondary schools tutors in a state. Like in Abuja, we have different secondary schools, whether those that are being held by the government and those that are being held privately. So it depends on what you want. What you want defines the type of data you collect. Average number of tutors per school. It can also be grouped into one folder, and that is what we know as what the data bank. So if you are defining the data bank management information system, data bank MIS, it is all about collection of records that have similar data into a storage location. Each of these database can be summarized and converted to single tabular presentation of information of interest. Like those of you that work with Microsoft Excel, you use it as to form a management information system, because when you are collecting record or collecting data, you type it on rows and on columns. So this is one type of database management system. Type of database management system, you have the predictive data. No, let me give example of the data bank management system, like the school database. Also, you have the human resource database. You have the hospital database. Like in human resource, you know what and what you get. You have the different type of unit, the number of staff in that type of unit, their levels, salary level, their qualification. Those are what you get in your human resource data bank or database. You also have the hospital data bank or database. For example, you go to the hospital, you nowadays the services that are given in the hospital now, if it is before, like in most government organization, you go and you waste your time, but now it is somehow improving. The last time I went to the hospital, is it FMC, they gave me an e-card. So that e-card have made things easy. It's just for them to flip it through their system, and the e-card will bring your detail. So your details have been stored as a patient of that hospital. So there is no, okay, let us go and bring your file. Let's do this one. Because they have already would form a data bank for you as the patient of the hospital. So those are the example of data bank management information. We also have the predictive MIS. Predictive MIS system help in drawing inferences and predictions that are relevant to decision making. In this type of database, management use it to draw inference, draw predictions from what is obtainable in the organization. Information obtained from this kind of analysis normally summarized in two-way tabular form. You can also use your Microsoft Excel, and you can even use your Microsoft Word if you know Microsoft Word very well. Example of such predictive management information system is the word accounting database, sales and managing marketing database, and you also have your inventory database. In most cases, this database is used for what? Forecasting and doing what? Budgeting. if you are able to have, for example, the accounting, you know what and what is obtainable in this unit. You, for example, you want this unit need money to buy some furnitures. So the management don't just go ahead to give money. It will first of all contact the accounting department. What and what is in that unit? What is that? Like in most units, they give them what they call impress. What is remaining from their impress. So it is from that impress they will be able to make decision on what to give to you. Like the inventory database. When you talk about the inventory, what and what is remaining in the store? What do we have? You put them into category. So when you have placed them into category, it will now inform the management what needs to be what bought and what stored in the organization. So it is mainly used for what? Prediction, forecasting, inferences, and what? Predicting. Forecasting and what? Budgeting. So that is what the predictive management system is all about. We also have your decision making management, decision taking management information system. This is the decision system in which the information system and the decision maker are one and they are the same. The decision maker and the information system, they are one and they are the same. And this one does not do things differently from this one. They work hand in hand. So no intervention of what? The manager. The manager have already handed over authority to the management information system. So the management information system will just take the decision whether the manager is there, whether the manager is not there. Example of the places you use this type of decision management is in business and manufacturing organization. Airplane automatic pilot system. We have automatic pilot system. It is a management information system that everything concerning the airplane have been automated and stored. So whenever the pilot need anything, it's just for it to give it an instruction and it will what? It will work. So it doesn't need the intervention of what? The pilot, because the pilot have already given it an instruction to do. So it will do that thing because it has to take decision on itself. And the pilot trusts that MIS to the extent that it believes it cannot make mistake. So both of them work hand in hand, but in most cases, the decision is left for the MIS to take. It is left for the MIS to take because it have already been given the authority to do it. So let's take an example like the manufacturing industry. I always use this example each time I have opportunity to teach this topic. Like the manufacturing industry, those of you that have opportunity to be in the breweries industry, if you are looking at how the bottles are arranged, you see that they are arranged in rows and in column. And when the content in it needs to be filled, it needs not to be done manually. It is not done manually. The bottle will be on the line and they will be going slowly. When it gets to where it will be filled, the MIS that have been mandated to do it will fill it immediately. It knows the quantity to fill. If there is an issue or if there is a problem, the MIS know what to do. It knows what to do. For example, now maybe it wants to fill it and maybe a bottle fell off. It doesn't, it will bypass the bottle and go to the next bottle. So it takes decision on its own because it have been told or automated on what to do. So wherever the manufacturers are or the people operating it are, they're only just to monitor. They know it will do what they have mandated it to do. So you can get that in a manufacturing organization. So the last one, decision making management information system. This system incorporates the value system of the organization or its criteria for choosing among alternatives. An example is the word customer relation management system. Customer relation management system. You make decisions based on the interaction you have with your customer or with your clients. You make decisions on interaction you have. You also have the management reporting system. The management reporting system is also an MIS that decides on what to do because it has been automated. For example, now there are some organizations you will go, its door is have a biometric device. Before you will enter, you must either have a card or your fingerprint must have been installed in it. So if you don't have a card, you cannot enter using that biometric screen. So it is a decision worth making system. Immediately your card is flipped through it, because it has been recorded in it, it recognizes it if you are a staff and it will allow you entrance. But if you are not a staff, it will deny you entrance. It's also applicable when it comes to the fingerprints. Because you are a staff of that organization, your fingerprints must have been inputted or fed into the biometric device. Immediately you put your fingerprint in it, it will scan through and either accept or reject. So this is another management information system that we are talking about. It reports what is going on. Like an attendant, it reports the attendant. Like some, there are others that talk about efficiency, how effective the staff of the organization work. It's also talk about, in fact, have many areas. But one thing I want you to know here that it's this mainly on the value of the organization. What are the organizational values? So when you talk about the decision-making system, they are built mainly on the values of an organization. So your customer relation, for example, now the customer relation have values, and anything you are doing to customers should not be outside that value. So these are some of the things that management information system special than other system, other management information system. I also want to ask on that, but then what's the difference between the data bank and the predictive management system? What's the difference between the data bank and the predictive management system? When you talk about the data bank is a collection of similar files or similar datas, collection of similar datas that are placed in folder to form what? A data bank. But when you talk about the predictive MIS, they are also collection of files, but now they are collected from what? They are collection of different files, so that management will be able to what? Make decision on it. If you talk about the data bank management information system, for example, now we are talking about in the human resource. If you are talking about a particular of a staff, any file you are getting for Mr. A must be something that is similar to him. You get his payroll, you get his date of birth, you get his salary level, you get everything you have to get concerning human resource is for Mr. A. When you talk about Mr. B, the same thing, you get what you get, but they are not what? The same, but they are specifically for one person. But when you talk about the predictive database management system, you get information from different places. You get information from different places for you to be able to what? Make decision. For example, now if you are talking of the inventory, let us take, for example, the inventory. For you to take inventory, that means there must be a store where the tools of the organization are kept. And in that store, if for example we have different units in that organization, we have the computer unit, we have the accounting unit, we have the procurement unit. The tools they will use, they are different. So you have to gather different tools for you to place in that store. And when you want to take inventory, you have to differentiate it. Inventory for unit 1, computer unit. Inventory for procurement unit. Inventory for human resource unit. You see that their inventories are the same. So you have to gather data from different units to what? Make up an MIS in this predictive. And it is when you have gathered this data from what you got, the information you get, that is what you use to be able to form the management information system. But on the other one, the data bank, you get information, similar information of people. Mr. A information is different from Mr. B, even though they move in the same sequence. So that is just the difference. So that is what types of MIS is all about. So we'll be summarizing. So we have been able to talk about what data bank is all about. That is a collection of files used by an organization and stored in such a way that one file may have record and files duplicated in other files. We have talked about the predictive information management system, that it helps in drawing inferences and prediction that are relevant from management information for management decision making. We also talk about decision taking information system, in which the information system and the decision maker are one. Whether the decision maker is there or not, it have already what informed the information system what and what to do, so it can go and was relax its head. Decision taking information system is a system that incorporates the value system, like I told you when you talk about the customer relationship. We use that as an example. It incorporates the value system. So whenever a customer comes, because the system have a value, it want to work on that value that the system have. So if an information system, like some of you that use chatbot, some of you bots, and some of you that use some of all this online customer care, you see that anything that will be said is what the system that is what the system values. So it doesn't work out of the values of the system. So these are the types of MIS we have. So I don't know if there is any question. I know you will not be able to ask now, but I encourage you, please, if you have any questions, send me a mail concerning this course. If you have any questions, send me a mail so that I'll be able to explain further to you what this topic is all about. Thank you for picking up the courage at least to go through the notes, or I call it voice note or lesson or video, anyone you can call it. So sincerely, I want to apologize again. I pray it will never repeat itself next week. God bless you. Please, our time is 5:30 every Wednesday. Encourage your mates to attend. It's always an interactive class, just because I'm doing it through video, so we don't really have enough time to talk to ourselves. But like I used to tell you, my class are always interactive. So thank you for this. We are going to call it a day since we are not seeing ourselves. There's no question. I'll meet you next week Wednesday by 5. God bless you.